Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Dolapo Adu and I film about various opportunities, global opportunities for international students, ranging from fully funded scholarships to helpful tips on how to apply for fully funded scholarships and all of that. So in today's video, I'm going to be sharing how to write an outstanding personal statement. Now, this is something that has actually been requested for a lot on my channel, and I thought about it and I said, you know what, I have to sit down, do my research, think of all the tips that I used to write my own personal statement, and then come here and film a video and explain to you guys how you can actually write an outstanding personal statement. Now, lots of people usually email me and text me asking for me to review their personal statement. As much as I would have loved to help and review your personal statement, I can't do that for everybody because I don't have that capacity or time, which is why this video, I'm going to take my time to do this video to explain to you how to actually construct your personal statement so that you know in that way you already have an idea of what to do and how to make it outstanding. Okay, so sit back, relax, get your pen, get your notes, and get ready to write, because the best way you can make the most out of this video is to actually write down these helpful tips. And you can always go back again to check the video and always reread your personal statement and make sure that you've done all of this or most of what I've shared in this video. First of all, I just want to make some clarification and explanations for those of you that may not know what a personal statement is and the difference between a personal statement and a scholarship essay. Because I get this question like most times, like, is a personal statement the same as a scholarship essay? So it's not the same. And the reason being that a personal statement is basically a body of letter that you write to the university you're applying to, telling them that you want to study a particular course at the university and why they should consider you and give you or offer you admission to study at that university. A scholarship essay, on the other hand, is what you write to tell a funding body or a scholarship panel why they should select you and offer you a scholarship. Now, for some universities, a personal statement is enough. So once they read your personal statement, they then decide if they will offer you a scholarship or not. For some other universities, and actually most universities, that from my own experience that I applied to, you will write a personal statement to apply for the course, and then you would write a scholarship essay to then apply for the scholarship at that university. So in my own experience, that was what I did. So I wrote lots of personal statements and I also had to write lots of scholarship essays from the same universities, but some universities do otherwise. So it really depends. And that's why it's important to go through the eligibility criteria, the requirements, and so you have an idea of what they want. So a scholarship essay, most times they will have sets of questions and they will ask you to write maybe 250 words, 300 words, sometimes 500 words, answering that question in the best way that you can. Sometimes they give guidelines to see, okay, this is what they are looking for in your answers. And that's why it's important to check if they have given some guidelines, because that would help you as well when you're writing your scholarship essay. But I'm not talking today about scholarship essays. I'm not going to dwell too much on it. But let me know if you want me to film a separate video on how to write a scholarship essay. And I'll probably look at one of the questions that I had to, write answers for in my previous applications. And I'll bring that to my channel and explain it. But let me know in the comment section if you would like me to film a separate video for scholarship essays. So today's video is about personal statements. So if you're applying to a university, or if you do want to apply for a scholarship and you are required to apply to the university first and actually get an offer of admission, and it's important that you get your personal statement right. Why? Because the personal statement is the first impression that they have about you. So even if they were going to consider you for a scholarship, what you have written in your personal statement gives them an idea of the kind of applicant you are for even that scholarship. So don't think that personal statement, it's not so important, I will focus on my scholarship essay. No, it's important that you do very well in your personal statement, that when they are considering you, when you're writing your scholarship essay, they already have that good first impression about your application. Now, to explain further how to construct your personal statement, I'm going to be dividing it into different sections. Now, the first section, and I'm going to be looking at my notes here because I've written some notes down so I don't forget anything. Please don't mind if you see me looking here and there. I'm just trying to get, look at my notes. So the first thing I want to say, the first section of your personal statement, okay, let's say, for example, you have been given a 1,000 word limit or even a 500 word limit. The first paragraph is very important. Now, what you write in your first paragraph already gives the whoever is reviewing your application or whoever is reading your personal statement an idea already. So that's why that opening paragraph is so important. Now, how do you make your opening paragraph in your personal statement stand out? Number one, think about something specific to you that inspired you to want to study the course that you're applying for at the university. Now, don't be too general, because I've read so many personal statements, and most times I see, people most times generalize the opening sentence that, oh, due to the issues that I face, or no, or due to the issues in Africa, or due to the issues in, basically things that the university can see on the news, like general news. They don't need to see it in your personal statement because they can find that information on the news. What they want to see is your own personal inspiration. So think of something or someone that inspired you to study that subject. Okay, now it could be an experience, a personal experience you had, or an experience that a family member had. I'll give you an example. Let's say you wanted to study medicine, or you're applying for a medicine course in university. You can think about, okay, what could have inspired you to study medicine? Now, for me, for example, one of the things that inspired me to study medicine was Grey's Anatomy, which is a medical TV series. And believe it or not, that was what I wrote in my personal statement. So I wrote how, as a little child, I would always watch Grey's Anatomy, and I saw the way doctors, how they did their job, how they helped people. And that inspired me because I also had the passion to help people. Think about a personal inspiration, either your own personal inspiration or an inspiration from a family member. Maybe, unfortunately, a family member of yours had a sickness or illness. Doctors said that there was no cure for it. And that inspired you to want to actually go into medicine so that you can then research and think of ways you can help other people that have the sicknesses without them, having to pass on as that family member. Think of things that inspire you and let that be in your first paragraph. Don't make it too generalized. Don't say something that they can find on the news. Don't say something that 100 other students would also say as well. It's important that that opening paragraph talks about you and your inspiration to study that subject. Okay? Number two, after you have done that first paragraph, the next section of your personal statement is where you then show how suitable you are for the course that you want to study. So this is where you talk about your work experience, your volunteer experience, your leadership experience. Think about something that you've done. And most people find this area difficult, especially if you've not had lots of experiences. Like, let's say you're just graduating from school or from uni and you wanted to do a master's, or you're just graduating from high school and you wanted to go into university and you've not had that much experience, and you're thinking, okay, what am I supposed to write? Now, this is something you don't have to worry about, because think of it, I'm pretty sure that one way or the other you have done something. Maybe in your church, maybe you are part of the media team in your church, and that has taught you about teamwork or communication. Or maybe you are someone that you were a carer for a family member. That has given you experience, because you have experience caring for a family member. That is a vital experience. Even if you worked in McDonald's, or you worked in a boutique, or you worked in a retail store, that is still vital experience. Because what did you learn from that experience? You learned teamwork, you learned organizational skills, maybe you learned communication skills. Every experience that you had, especially even your volunteer experience. So that means, for example, if maybe you volunteered in your local church, or you volunteered in your local community, maybe you even volunteered for your parents, or volunteered for a friend, something that you would have done. There's something, you just have to think deep. What have I done? Because in your head, you might think that it's not significant, but it's actually significant, because every experience counts. It's just how you then frame it and sell it. Now, this is what I'm going to explain to you. Now, you want to study a course. Let's say you want to study anatomy in university, and you don't have any experience working in a hospital, or you don't have any clinical experience at all. But let's say maybe you have a pet, or one day, tragically you saw a dog die on the street. I know that this is a very, this is a very, very weird explanation, but trust me, any experience counts. And let's say you saw this, or maybe not the intestine out, because that's too, Maybe you saw just maybe the dog was maybe trying to survive or something. Maybe a car hit the dog, and you realize that you were thinking of how could it be that what could I have done to help this dog survive, or so something that you anatomy wise, like think of what anatomy in that dog could you say, oh, maybe if I knew how to do this, maybe I did. Well, guys, basically my whole point here is that think of something that you've done and relate it to the course you want to study. Now, for me, for example, when I was writing my personal statement, I talked about how I volunteered in my local church. So there were times we had like this kind of outreach, medical outreach, that we went to like the slums and like areas that people can't really afford healthcare. And that time I wasn't even a doctor. I hadn't studied medicine then. I was just helping like the doctors there, just helping them check blood pressure of patients, and basically like helping them to give drugs, that kind of thing. I used that experience. All I had to do was explain in detail how I used that experience. Now, for someone that already has experience, let's say you already have a solid or vital experience and you're not sure how to portray it and how to sell yourself in that area, what you can do, and what I always advise, is to use the STAR approach. STAR. So STAR means S is for the situation, T is the task you are given, A is the action that you took, and then R is the result. Now, you can also do another R, which is reflection. That is reflection on the result. Now, let's say, for example, you worked as a pharmacist, okay, and you want to study maybe a master's in pharmacy, for example. So that means you have some vital experience in pharmacy. Talk about the situation. Was there a time that you had to dispense drug for a patient, okay, or dispense drug for a customer, for example, or maybe even a difficult customer that came to the pharmacy and was worried or was angry or something? Talk about that situation. So talk about the situation, then go to the task. So what was actually your task as a pharmacist in that pharmacy? Was your task to dispense drugs to patients or to customers, or was your task to arrange the drugs on the shelf? Was your task to keep stock of the drugs and make sure that any drugs that has run out, to inform the management and they're able to get more inventory for those drugs? Talk about the task. What was your task in that role, in that experience? A, talk about the action. So what did you do? So my task was this and this and this and this. So I did this and this and this and this. Then the result. What was the result of what you did? So the result was that the customer left the shop happy that day. Or the result was that, because of your efficiency in keeping stock of inventory of drugs and all of that, the management were able to know when drugs ran out, and that helped them to improve their efficiency as a pharmaceutical company. And then your reflection. So what did you learn from that experience? So this taught me that I've actually gained some organizational skills. This taught me that I've gained, time management skills. This taught me that I'm more analytical in my thinking. What was the reflection? So can you see how that helps you to portray your experience? This doesn't go for only personal statements. Even in your cover letter, when you're applying for jobs, when you're talking about any experience you have, volunteer experience, leadership experience, work experience, this STAR approach is really, really helpful. It gives you a structured way of actually explaining your experience. And that brings me to another point in terms of the second part of your personal statement. When you're explaining your experience that you've had, you don't have to list out 5 experiences. I've read some personal statements whereby people will list out all of the experiences that they've had, but never really explained any of the experiences. Even if it's one experience you've had, you can use the STAR approach and explain it. It is still a vital experience. Remember that it's human beings that are going to be reading your personal statement. So that means that you want to, as much as possible, evoke an emotion, a mindset. Let them feel like they know you by reading your personal statement. If you're just listing experiences one by one without actually explaining what you did, then they don't have a clear picture. And sometimes it doesn't look realistic. It doesn't look like it's you that actually did that, or you that actually worked in that area that you talked about, if that makes sense. So in that second part of your personal statement, talk about your experiences. This is the moment where you have to tell them what experience that you've had, what you learned from that experience, and how that will help you in your course as well. Another hot tip I will give in that second part as well is that make sure that you talk about how you went above and beyond your job responsibility. Now, if you're someone that is always striving for excellence in whatever you do, and of course everyone should also strive for excellence in whatever you do, but maybe there are times you've gone above and beyond. Let's say, for example, maybe your role in a bank was just to talk to customers, but you went above and beyond to actually work with the social media team to ensure that there's an increased awareness of the bank online. So that is you going or working with social media, but probably not be your job role, but because you saw that there was a gap or there was a space in that area, and you have social media skills, and you thought, okay, in addition to doing my work as a customer service personnel, I also want to work with the social media or digital media team to increase awareness for this company or for this bank. Talk about how you went above and beyond in your work experience, or even in your volunteer experience. Even if you were working as a salesperson, talk about how you went above and beyond to ensure that the company you were working with obtained success and became more efficient. This also kind of shows the kind of person that you are, that you're someone that always likes to go the extra mile to obtain results, and that's a very good look as well in your personal statements. For those that might not have any experience whatsoever, work experience, volunteer experience, this is an opportunity for you to talk about your academic experience. So while you were in school, what did you do? If you're applying for a master's, when you were doing your undergraduate degree, what did you do? What did you study? What projects did you take? You can also still use the STAR approach even for your academic experience as well. So talk about your academic skills. For example, you had to organize your timetable, you had to organize your projects, you had to organize all that you had to do to meet up with deadlines. That shows that you have an idea of organizational skills. So even if you have just academic experience, that is also very sufficient for you to write in your personal statement. In terms of academic experience as well, you can talk about your research skills. Like I already mentioned, what projects did you work on? What did you learn? What do you intend to do with this experience that you have? How can you apply it to the course that you want to study in this new university that you're applying to? So that is why whatever experience you have, all you have to do is just try to connect it. So this is the course you want to study. This is the experience you have, whether work experience, leadership experience, volunteer experience, academic experience. All you have to do, think of how you can then intertwine them. So how can you connect this experience that you have with the course you want to study? That is all you need to do. Match them up together and put that in your personal statement. So that is for the second section of your personal statement. The third section, now this is when they want to know you as a person, your personal qualities, the extracurricular activities that you did. Now, some universities, and this is one of the tips I will give, is that some universities, they're all about your academic research experience and all of that, while some other universities, they actually want to know you as a person, as a human. So it's important to also research on the university. But if you're not sure, I would still advise you to put in your personal qualities in your personal statement. Now then, my personal qualities, what do you do outside of school? What do you do outside of work? What personal qualities do you have? Do you like traveling? Talk about how you like traveling. Talk about you as a person. Do you like videography? Do you like content creation? What do you like to do in your spare time? What personal qualities do you have? This is the section where you talk about that in your personal statement. So, for example, think about all of these personal qualities you have. What skills you've learned from even what you've done in your free time. For example, if you love to travel in your free time, if traveling is one of your hobbies, talk about how organizing for a trip, for example, maybe you're the person in your group of friends who always has like a to-do list of things to do, who always has a travel itinerary that everyone has to follow. That shows that you're very good at organizing things. Or maybe you're someone that in your spare time, you like to organize events, you like to organize programs in church, at work, whatever it may be. Think about some of those personal qualities or extracurricular activities, things that you're not actually paid for to do, but you do it out of your passion as well. You do it out of things that you enjoy. This is the section where you want to talk about that. Don't just talk about, but also talk about what you learned from it. Remember that in all our personal statements, every experience we are given, everything we're talking about, we're still trying to connect it to the course we want to study. So don't get carried away, even if you're talking about traveling or singing, or maybe you dance in your free time. time, or you do content creation in your free time, remember that we're still trying to bring it back to the course that we are studying and the course that we are applying to. So that is why even your extracurricular activities, it's also a learning opportunity for you as well. It was a learning experience for you as well. So what did you learn in that, while you were doing all of that? What did you learn? What worked? What didn't? And how can you apply all that you've learned into the course that you want to apply for? Now, the next section is your final close. Now, you've talked about your inspiration. You've talked about your work experience or any experience you have at all. You've talked about your personal qualities and extracurricular activities that you do. Now is the final conclusion, where you now talk about the university. So you sold yourself and you've talked about how good you are, to the university. Now you want to talk about how good the university is and why you've actually chosen them. Now, this is where you talk about your goals as well in this section. So talk about your goals, your 5-year goal, your 10-year goal. And the reason why I always advise to divide it into your 5-year and 10-year goal, because it makes it more realistic. What you can achieve in 5 years is different from what you can achieve in 10 years time. So talk about what do you aim to achieve in 5 years time? What is your plan? Do you want to do a PhD? Do you want to work in a certain company or organization? And how can the course that you're studying help you to achieve that goal? And also talk about how the university can help you achieve that goal. So this is where you have to do your research on the university and the course you want to apply to. Go through the website, see what modules or subjects they are offering, read in details what they entail, and that's where you also talk about. If you want to go the extra mile, look at the professors in that department. What research have they done? And this is for people that probably want to study masters, okay? Look at what research have these professors done. Is this something you are interested in? Do you think that you would like to work with them doing your masters as well? Is it like a research area that you are interested in? So you can highlight their names. So if you want to go the extra mile, you can even put the names of the professors that you really look forward to working with and also doing research with as well. That shows them that you have done your homework and you have gone through the website to see what the course entails. That's why it's important to do your research on the university. What makes the university stand out for you compared to other universities? Is it their approach to diversity or inclusivity? Is it maybe the kind of module that maybe there's a particular module that they offer that other universities don't offer? I'll give you an example. When I was applying for my course at the University of Sheffield, one of the things that drew me to the course was because they also had a field class as well. So I had the opportunity to travel outside of the UK to actually do research. Now, not all universities that offer public health degrees or master's degree actually have this field class. So I stated it there that is what attracted me to studying this particular course at the University of Sheffield. So because I did my own research, I went through the module, I went through the course itself, and I saw they were actually offering placements and a field class, and I mentioned that in my personal statement. So it's important for you to go through what the course entails and put that in. If you want to put in professor's name and talk about people I want to work with, you can put that in there as well. Now, talking about how the university can help you to achieve your goals. Once you've outlined your 5-year goal and your 10-year goal, now talk about how the course can help you to get the skills that you need to achieve this goal, how the course will help you get the knowledge, the experience. Maybe the course has a placement that you can do, a 1-year placement, and this will add up to the experience that you need, for your further career goal. Talk about your 10-year goal as well, what organizations you plan to work with. For me, for example, I talked about my dream and my goal to work in the World Health Organization, and how my course is going to give me the skills, the knowledge, and the experience to be able to work there. So that there are different sorts of experiences that you need to be able to work in the World Health Organization. And I talked about how my course and how the university is going to help me to do that. I also talk about the network opportunities that you have as well. When you go to university, you have the opportunity to meet various people from different countries, even professors. You might even have like guest lecturers. Like in my course, I had guest lecturers that were the owners of NGOs that have worked in the World Health Organization before. And networking with them as well helps you to put yourself out there, gives you an idea of how to achieve your goals. Talk about networking opportunities as well with other students, with professors, with guest lecturers, and all of that. Now, this is also the section where if you want to apply for a scholarship, let the university know. Now, it's not a scholarship essay, it's a personal statement where it's important, especially for scholarships where they may tell you that you don't need to have a separate application, that once you apply to the course, they will then consider you if they will offer you a scholarship. So that's why it's important in your personal statement, give them a hint that you're actually planning to apply for a scholarship. That way they have it at the back of their mind. So that was what I did. In my personal statement, I mentioned how I'm excited to do all of this, but unfortunately, I don't have the funds to be able to study this master's course, which is why I'm looking forward to applying for a scholarship at the University of Sheffield. So when it was time for me, I got an email back from the university to actually then apply for a scholarship. That's because I've already given them an idea that I do want to apply for a scholarship. So for some universities, they want to have an idea. Are you going to pay for yourself, or are you going to apply for a scholarship? Now, your personal statement is one of the best places that you can put that information there. So don't think you have to wait for a scholarship essay to talk about your interest in applying for a scholarship. You can talk about that even in your personal statement. And then the final section is where you then round up, okay? Now, you've talked about your inspiration, you talked about your experience, you talked about your personal qualities, you talked about your goals, the course, why you want to apply to the course, how the university will help you. Now you just have to round it up with a beautiful close. After you've done this and this and this, you've discovered that the University of Sheffield or any university you're applying to is the best place for you to achieve all of this. It will help me in my skills and my experiences, and I hope to be able to do this and this and this in 5 years' time, in 10 years' time, thanks to being given an offer to study, or thanks to being accepted to study at so university. Think of a beautiful close of the personal statement. So don't just end your personal statement abruptly, but make sure that you give a beautiful ending and a beautiful close to it. So that's it, guys. I'll just share some extra tips. Number one, look at the word count. So if the word count is 500 words, please don't go beyond 500 words. They are very strict, especially in the UK. They are very strict on word count. So if your personal statement says 500 words, it's important to use that 500 words. So in 500 words, you can actually apply all of these steps into it. It's just how you actually structure it. Read your personal statement and read it again. Keep reading it again until you're satisfied. One advice I also give is read it out loud. That way you can hear how your personal statement sounds. Also give someone else to have a look at it. It's important for someone else to look at your personal statement. That way they can help you, because it might look good to you or it might sound good to you, and someone else reads it and they're like, I think maybe you should have said this here, or I think maybe you can remove this. Give someone to have a second look at it. So that was one of the things that I did that really helped me, having someone to have a look at it, and the person was able to correct any things that needed to be corrected. So give someone to have a second look at it. You don't have to lie about any experience that you have. Okay, I already talked about earlier how even if you don't have any experience, think about the little things that you've done, and even your academic experience, what you did in uni or what you did in school. Every experience counts. So please don't lie about your experience, especially if you're going to go in for an interview afterwards and they ask you questions about the experience and you can't really defend that experience that you have. It won't be a good look on you. So please and please and please don't lie about any experience. If you know that you didn't do this, don't lie that you did it. It's very important not to lie about it, because they can find out later. Okay, and then finally, just believe in yourself. Hope and pray. Do your personal statement, do your best, and just pray about it and submit it. Believe in yourself that you're good enough to actually get this admission, or you're good enough to get into this university. Remember that sometimes you may think that you're not good enough, but whoever is in your personal statement thinks that, oh, this person is beautiful, this person is amazing, this person is terrific. So don't look down on yourself for any experience that you have. Believe in yourself, go for it, apply to that university, apply for that course. And I hope that these helpful tips I've given would help you and be useful for you when you're writing your personal statement. So let me know in the comment section if you found this video really helpful and useful. Let me know if you have written your personal statement, or if you would write your personal statement using these helpful tips, and if it actually helped you to get an admission into university. I will be so happy to hear that good news. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share and subscribe. Most importantly, share this video to someone, as you don't know who would need to hear this helpful tip, them to also write their personal statements as well. So thank you guys. I'm sorry the video was too long, but I hope I was able to explain it in details. And please put in the comment section any other videos you'd like me to film about. Your ideas are very welcome. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Goodbye.